You done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Bryan Johnson, joins us right now. Bryan, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking at talk, give me funny, lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat, Brad Gilmore.
I can't tell you how much of a fan I am of my first guest. This man, of course, you know him from television projects like Malcolm in the Middle. He played Walter White on Breaking Bad. You might have heard of that one. He plays In Your Honor. He's the star of that show on Showtime every Sunday night. And he also came into my life as Dr. Tim Whatley on Seinfeld. And I could have talked to him about Seinfeld. I could have talked to him about Breaking Bad, all the things that I'm sure he's talked about an incredible amount of times. But what I am talking to Bryan Cranston today about is what he's doing to raise money for the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. With Propeller, you go to BryanCranstonBigGame.com and you donate at least $5 and you'll be entered into a raffle to win a chance to go see the Super Bowl and meet up with Bryan Cranston in person. How great is that? You can get, let's see what it says here. You get a trip for two to the Super Bowl that includes airfare, ground transportation, and a hotel for 2 nights, along with a chance to meet Bryan at some point over the weekend. Every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. I know that we're all excited to talk to Bryan Cranston. I can't believe that I'm talking to Bryan Cranston. So without further ado, why don't we talk to Bryan Cranston right now about the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America and BryanCranstonBigGame.com. Here he is, Bryan Cranston. Bryan Cranston joins us right now. He's talking about teaming up with Propeller to raise money for Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. To enter, you go to BryanCranstonBigGame.com and donate at least $5 and you will be entered into the raffle. The winner will be chosen at random on February the 8th and will win a trip for 2 to the Super Bowl, airfare, ground transportation, a hotel for 2 nights, along with a chance to meet Bryan Cranston over the weekend. Every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. He joins us right now, Bryan Cranston.
Brad, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
Well, let's talk about this big game promotion that you're doing, and it's benefiting the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, and you can go to BryanCranstonBigGame.com, donate at least $5 to be entered in the raffle. How did all this come about? Are you excited about going to the big game?
Very, very exciting. Even though my team, the Rams, are not in it this year, we had a great year last year. I was doing an NFL narration for the Rams season last year, and the NFL offered 2 tickets to the game, and then which is fantastic. And then I saw that the Popcorners people that I did a commercial with for the Super Bowl with Aaron Paul that you'll see during the game. They offered some tickets as well, which was very generous of them, and we had a great time doing the commercial. So what happened is that I realized, I still have these 2 tickets that the NFL just generously gave to me. So I thought, let's do something with it. Let's make some money and bring some attention to a worthy cause. And I have a friend who's connected with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, and I called him and he said they're a fantastic organization. They are exactly what you think they are. They're bringing mentorship and kind of parental care to those kids who grow up without that kind of influence. And so I said, I'm all in. Let's do it. So we created BryanCranstonBigGame.com through this company called Propeller, which will offer this raffle. If you go on there, minimum donation is $5. You get a ticket number, and we're going to have the drawing live on Dan Patrick's show this coming Wednesday. And, it's 2 tickets to the game, great seats, airfare, hotel, ground transportation, and we'll make arrangements to meet up with me, maybe have a drink or something. It'll be great. It'll be fun. It's all benefiting the big brothers and big sisters. And so far, we have almost $100,000 raised for the organization.
That's incredible. Again, it's BryanCranstonBigGame.com. It's benefiting Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. You're right. Having that influence at such a young age is so important. We need somebody to kind of give us that push and that encouragement that we need. Who was that person for you? Who was your Big Brothers or Big Sisters of America back when you were little Bryan Cranston?
It was, the literal sense of it. I had a big brother, and my family split up, and my dad left the family when I was 11 years old, and without my older brother, I don't know what kind of trouble I would have gotten myself into. Certainly, I would have been without guidance, without a plan, and aimless. So my big brother Kyle, who's still very close to me, it was him that I looked to for that guidance, and so many boys and girls just don't have that someone to be able to know which way should I go, which should I decide at this moment, and to have that just that older person to say, you might want to think about this or that, or this might help you. What about this? You're excited about doing that, So you just spend some time with them and just guide them along the way, and it has a direct influence on their lives, and it's such a positive organization. So I can't speak highly enough of them.
Again, this is BryanCranstonBigGame.com. Minimum $5 donation. It will be drawn at random on February 8th on the Dan Patrick Show. Bryan, you're also starring in Your Honor right now, and I have to ask you about something because I feel like there's I can draw a comparison between you and the great Julia Louis-Dreyfus in more ways than one, other than the fact that you're both incredibly attractive and aged well. I will say that y'all, as far as picking television projects, must be in a tier all to yourself. To have such an iconic series, like for Julia, it was Seinfeld, and then she went to Old Adventures or New Adventures of Old Christine, then to Veep. For you, you have Malcolm in the Middle. You go to, of course, Breaking Bad, and now Your Honor. You're 3 for 3 on these great television series. What is the process of picking something like this? Do you have are there certain qualifiers you need in a script where you say, man, this has legs, I can really buy into this?
No, it's really just throwing darts at the board. So, it's not. The only thing that you can control in my business really is whether your instincts tell you whether or not a script is good. And if a script is good, it has a chance to be a good production or a good show. If the script is not good, it will not be a good show. That's the one absolute that I know is true. So I just look for scripts that move me, that feel important, that are saying something that others will relate to. Certainly in Your Honor, Showtime came to me and said, what do you think about this? This is about a man who would do anything to save the life of his child, including become a criminal. And I thought, wow, what a dilemma that would be. But if it were me, I'd make the same decision. If I really thought that if I lied and got rid of evidence and this sort of thing, it would save the life of my child, I'd do it. And not happily, but I would have to do it in order to fulfill the number one responsibility of a parent, and that's protect your children.
Yeah, finding, I guess, that hook that you can to relate to with the character, I guess you could see how we could play this out over several episodes and really have longevity. They have to be more than a one-note character. Even in a sitcom, there's got to be something that you can bite onto in there. There's another character you played that I have to ask about. And, I'm here in Houston, Texas. I'm about, 100 miles south of Johnson City, which was the birthplace of Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ, who you got to depict in a film. What was it like playing LBJ? Because he took over as president, such a pivotal time in this country. Looking over the Civil Rights Act of 1964, picking up from Kennedy. What did you kind of learn about playing Lyndon Baines Johnson?
There were literally and figuratively huge shoes to fill. The man was a big personality. He had tremendous ambition. He also had tremendous lows in his life. He was afflicted with depression, I think, and he could possibly have been, bipolar if he were living in a modern sense. Because he had high highs and low lows. But the bigger thing is that he accomplished a tremendous amount. Yes, the war in Vietnam, he has to own that as well for his history. But I was deeply honored to be able to portray that man, not only on Broadway, but also in the HBO film. And tremendously effective. The writing was great. As I mentioned before, the writing here was just fantastic and compelling. And so it was an easy decision for me to take on that role.
Bryan Cranston joins us. I got one final question for you, Bryan. But of course, we're talking about Bryan Cranston, BigGame.com. That's benefiting the big brothers and big sisters of America. $5 donation gets you into the raffle. You could win 2 tickets and a trip to the Super Bowl. We're talking about the Super Bowl. I know you said you're a Rams fan. I wouldn't call myself a Houston Texans fan because of their last couple seasons. I'm more of an observer. But who do you have in the big game coming up in a couple of Sundays from now?
Okay, Brad, first of all, shame on you. You are either a fan of your home team or you are not. And whether they're on top of the world or on the bottom, you have to stay a fan.
You're right, Bryan
Brad.
Cranston. You're right, Bryan Cranston. I agree with you. But who do you got? Who do you got? Tell me who you got.
I'm concerned about Mahomes' leg.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be able to come all the way back? And then you have Jalen Hurts, who also is injured to some degree. So maybe they offset each other. I'm not sure. But there's just something seems to be flowing in the Eagles' way for me. If I were to bet on the game, I don't know what the point spread is right now, but if I were to bet on the game, I think I'd have to go to the Eagles unless the point spread was too far.
I hear you, Bryan Cranston. That's a great pick. See, you pick football teams like you pick television projects. You're 3 for 3 with those. I'm going to go with your pick of the Eagles. And again, go to BryanCranstonBigGame.com. That's BryanCranstonBigGame.com. And donate at least $5 and you'll be entered in the raffle. Bryan Cranston, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.